Okay, now we're ready to put the holes in for the cups. And what I've done is I've taken the plugs that I'm going to glue together and put back in the holes, and you can see that's that one, this is this one. I'm just setting them on my green to kind of decide, you know, exactly where I want to put my holes. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at this and just decide, you know, is that where I want them? Okay, so I'm going to get on my green and, you know, think about how I want to go for this. Now, I want to have some rollout past the hole, okay, because we actually want to putt at least to the hole and give yourself, you know, 18 inches beyond the hole. So, you know, that's kind of how I've got this organized, and it's going to be, again, simple to do. We're going to get our cutting board and get underneath the hole, and again, this doesn't have to be perfect. You can do any configuration you want. You're going to have 3 cups and 3 flags. You can always get more. Happy to sell those to you. Now that you've got a hole cutter, you can put as many of them in as you want. I've actually had people put as many as 8 holes on a 14-foot putting green. So you might put 4 at one end and 4 at the other, and you know, it's a lot of options for you. So I'm going to basically just replace this stack of plugs with my hole cutter here. Make sure my board's underneath. Cut my hole. Okay. You got more alignment plugs. You're going to have a bunch of these. So again, we'll glue these together, and we'll do that in a minute. Again, this is now installing the cup. It has a flange on it, and so you can put it underneath the putting green at the hole, press down, and voila, you actually have a cup in your putting green. What we do is I put 2 cups into the grain, okay, and you'll be able to feel the grain on your putting green. This pokes me, and this is fast, okay, so this is a 10-11, so it's a 10 stimp into the grain. It is an 11 stimp down grain. Now, I prefer going into the grain, so I'm going to put 2 of my cups here. It also allows me to create a little more break for my faster putt, so I can simulate, you know, downhill, down grain. And you can actually do that by shimming it, and you can actually shim it with some magazines here, so you're actually going downhill. So let me put this hole in. You can put anything under this green that creates a lofted contour, okay? And by lofted contour, I mean that this half-inch, okay, so I've missed my cutting board just slightly. Now, I didn't hurt it because I didn't hit the concrete, but I wasn't quite perfectly underneath it. All right, so cup under. All right, there we go. All right, so now I have 2 cups in, and I'm going to go down and put in my next cup. Okay, so I'm going to install the bumpers now, and the bumpers are configured a black snap U-channel and then a clear backstop. And I've gone ahead and bent the clear backstop into the L shape. You're going to get it in your box flat, but it'll be scored, so you just fold it over, and this will actually snap under the U-channel. Okay, so the bumper is installed just on the top layer, and if you'd like, you could actually get a piece of duct tape if you'd like and tape the bumper on. You know, it has a nice amount of squeeze, but you know, sometimes you can kick these off and it gets irritating. It'll actually stay on there nicely, but again, you may want to tape the back side down here with some tape. And then again, the L bracket or the backstop just snaps under it, okay? And the nice thing is that this backstop actually has our logo, and there are some nice aiming points for behind the hole. So if you want to decide, you know, where you want to aim past the hole, it's a nice place to aim. Where do you create those nice lofted breaks? Okay, So rather than bore you with putting the other one on, I'm going to go put the other one on. Then we're going to put the flags in and we're going to putt. So we're about ready to get putting, but I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. These are the hole reduction inserts. They're 2.5 inch diameter. There's 2 of them. They will actually fill the entire hole, okay? So that is instead of a 4.25 inch standard hole, that's a 2.5 inch hole. These are your flags. They are required on the the 1/2 inch thick, the single putting greens. You really need the flags in because they help dampen the ball and keep it in the hole. On your 1 inch thick, you won't need that. This is window dressing. It does have an extraction feature, so you might want to keep it in. You can do it any way you want. I'm going to put them in for now. Okay, set one aside. But that was quick. You know, that was 10 minutes, and we were ready to putt. Okay, now let's roll some. We're ready to go. This is actually down grain, so this is speedy. This is about an 11 going down grain. And that was a pretty good putt. And now let me go into the grain, going the other way, and extracted. You might keep in mind also we sell a double depth stance mat, so you can actually stand off the green here, and you'll see that in a drop down menu here on the ordering page, but you can stand off the green with your feet at the same height and use the entire green. I like to get over here on the right side and go across the grain so that I don't line my feet up with the edge, because that's a little cheating. But we're actually going to go for this little hole here, and it's really difficult to get that in. I'm going into the grain, and you can see how much slower that was. And I'm not even going to attempt that again. That's so hard that that's one of those things that you can spend hours trying to put it in that hole. And we'll try to go for the 4.25 inch hole here. Again, into the grain. So I got to put a little more on it, and you can see I like to see it roll by the hole. Again, I can feel I left my club face open on that. And that's not going to get there. Okay, now let's talk about creating contours and breaks. You know, I find some of the best breaks are made with just the stuff that's around the house. A towel, you know, magazines, books, that sort of thing. We do give you a couple of snake shims that you can put in there. And so let's do that. Let me put a shim under here. And I'm just going to actually shim it when I get up on the green. This will be shimming it so that it makes it break, you know, right to left here. And let me grab my putter, and I'm going to take a look at this. I haven't ever hit this putt, but you know, from this right side, you know, I'm going to guess that breaks, you know, maybe 8 inches. So let's see, you know, what we've got here. Breaks 8 inches. Okay, so we've assembled our green. We've actually practiced on it a little bit, and now it's time to sort of perfect it. Okay, so remember how we saved our inserts from the actual hole that we made? Again, this is an insert that I sent to you. It's really just an assembly insert. This is when you're going to use your adhesive. Okay, so we're going to send you a can of adhesive. It's just like spray paint. You want to use this in a well-ventilated area. Okay, and you know, it doesn't take much. We're going to spray the 2 plugs exactly like they came out. You're not going to spray on top of the fuzzy part, but between them, and just put a little bit on the bottom plug. Okay, you're going to want to let that tack up for a few minutes. Okay, so you might wait you know, 5 or 10 minutes, and that'll be tacky, and we'll put the other plug on top. And then curing of about 2 or 3 hours, it'll have actually the same structural integrity as the plugs that we've used. So we'll leave this for just 1 second, let that tack up while I talk to you about the other thing that you can do with your can of adhesive. Putting your plugs together, you're going to use about 1/5 of this can. The balance of the can can be used to glue the two pieces together. And the way you want to do that is you'll take the flags out, you'll get everything off the surface, you'll leave all the plugs at one end, okay? You will take this bumper off, unplug this group of plugs, and again, this is only if you want to make this something that's semi-permanent. Once you've done this, gluing these two pieces together, it doesn't really roll up well anymore. It wants to actually shear from one another as you roll it up. So you won't be wanting to roll it up, but this gives it a super solid feel. And you would do this if, again, you're going to be using it in the same place, you know, for a good length of time. So again, you're going to take everything out, and again, you're aligned perfectly, but we're going to roll it up as we go. I'm going to get this shim that we put in here out of the way. All right. I'm going to roll this up as we go here. Got my can of adhesive. I'm going to actually roll it over my plugs here, okay? I'm going to leave them in because I want to align it again. I'm going to come back right over the top of those two plugs. All right? I'm going to take out my hole reduction inserts. I'm going to take out my cup. All right? Now, I'm going to put this plug back in for now, just because I'm showing you the glue it together part. So we're going to roll it all the way to the end, okay? And here, you spray the adhesive on very liberally, okay? And you'll spray and try to make it contiguous, and spray and spray and spray, and your spray, and this now is coming together. You're going to spray here. Do not spray on top of your plugs. Again, this is all being sprayed down. All right. Get to this end. Oops. Try not to kneel in the hole because that hurts. Okay, and then you get to this end, and it won't be set up yet. Okay, that's the beauty part. Is it takes about 20 minutes for it to even be set up, but you want to get everything aligned, and you'll get back down here, and you'll put your plugs back in. Okay. Oops. I need to glue a set of plugs. Okay, put your plugs back in. And at this point, I would, get some magazines. I would get, some flat things that have a little heft to them. Here in the factory, I actually have stance mats. And at this point, I would literally, put some weight on it. And I would do it overnight, okay? So this would be, something you do and come back. But you're going to want to put some weight uniformly distributed on it. Make sure, walk around on it and do that for, 15 minutes, just to get that adhesive, bonding and, get it everywhere you can walk. And ultimately, you're going to have a perfectly flat, homogeneous, 1-inch thick putting green that you can put lofted contours under, do anything you want. And even though the plugs are functional, that's a much better long-term solution. All right. Okay, so I've taken the actual plugs that came out of this green and I've actually glued them together with my adhesive, okay? And I did that a couple of hours ago, and so they're nice and strong. And I've already replaced this one. I've replaced that one. You can see here, this is one of the ones that I shipped to you, and it's not a perfect match, okay? It's pretty good, but it's not perfect. And again, that's just so you can do your assembly. The grain is going this way, okay? Grain is going that way. And you can see how that just blends perfectly. Now, I'm not going to use that one anymore. I'm going to discard this one, but I'm going to go and replace the rest of my mechanical plugs with the ones that match the depth and the texture perfectly. They will actually disappear, as you can see if you want to zoom in on those.